Let me be brutally honest with you right from the start, because this might change the way you see flying forever. When you step onto an airplane today, you are not walking into a service industry. You are stepping into a carefully engineered system designed to squeeze every dollar it can out of your comfort. Modern economy travel isn't built around people, it's built around profit. The goal is simple and cynical: make the base experience just uncomfortable enough that you feel pushed to pay for relief, but not so awful that you stop flying at all. And here's the truth the airlines don't want my generation or yours to understand. If you're between 55 and 75, you are their perfect target. The algorithms already know who you are. They know you usually have more disposable income than a backpacker in their 20s. They also know your body doesn't bounce back like it used to. Cramped seats hurt more. Dehydration hits harder. Stress lingers longer. So they design the system to quietly bet on one thing: that your physical need for comfort will open your wallet. Ignoring how this really works isn't just about being annoyed for a few hours. At our age, it's about blood clot risks. It's about dehydration messing with your blood pressure meds. It's about landing at the dream place you saved for your whole life, only to spend the first 3 days stuck in a hotel bed because the journey drained you dry. That's why I'm breaking the silence today. For those of you who are new here, hello, my name is Mila. I spent 15 years wearing the flight attendant uniform on long-haul international routes at 35,000 feet. I've poured champagne up front, wrestled beverage carts in turbulence, and seen what really happens behind the galley curtain when the cabin lights go down. I started sharing this because I realized my own parents were flying blind, staying loyal to airlines that were quietly taking advantage of them. Think of me as your daughter on the inside. I'm here to say the things corporate offices would rather keep buried, because your health and your retirement savings deserve protection. So let's start with the first secret, one every crew member knows, and the reason you will never see us drinking coffee or tea on board. It's the dirty water tank secret. The water on a plane is not bottled. It sits in huge tanks in the belly of the aircraft. And here's the reality. Those tanks are rarely fully drained and almost never scrubbed. They're just topped off at different airports around the world, some with better standards than others. Over time, they become a bacterial soup. Tests have found E. coli and coliform bacteria at alarming rates. When you order coffee or tea, that water is heated, but at altitude, it doesn't get hot enough to reliably kill everything living in that tank. For a young, iron-stomached traveler, that might just mean an upset stomach. But for those of us over 60, with weaker immune systems, it can ruin a vacation fast. And worse, because that water tastes off, you drink less, while the cabin air dries you out like a desert. Those tiny cups don't help. Dehydration thickens your blood, raises clot risk, and worsens fatigue and jet lag. If you take diuretics, you're in double trouble. I once watched a polite older man faint in the aisle after hours of drinking coffee because the water tasted bad. It nearly forced a diversion. So here's your rule. Never drink anything made with airplane tap water. No coffee, no tea. Don't even brush your teeth with it. Use bottled water only. Bring a large insulated bottle empty through security. Fill it at a filtered station after TSA, and finish it during the flight. If you need more, ask for a full bottle and say it's for medication. We almost always say yes. Because staying hydrated isn't comfort. For you, it's safety. And once you take control of that, you're ready for the next secret. The one that explains why the person beside you may have paid hundreds less for the same seat than you did, and it has nothing to do with luck. Forget the old advice about buying tickets on a Tuesday at midnight. That trick died years ago. Today, pricing is driven by dynamic profiling, and retirees are right in the crosshairs. When you visit an airline's website, they aren't just showing flights, they're building a profile on you. They look at your zip code to guess income. They note the device you're using. An older tablet can quietly signal an older traveler. They track how many times you search the same route, how long you hover over a price, and whether you log in with a loyalty account. They know many of you value convenience more than hunting for deals. They know you often book early and stick to familiar airlines. And when the system decides you really want that flight and can afford it, it slowly raises the price just for you. I've seen this with my own eyes. My aunt once called me upset, asking why it was $800 to fly from Chicago to Denver. I pulled up the exact same flight at the same moment and saw $550. The difference was simple. She had been checking every day from the same computer in a well-off suburb. The airline knew she was hooked and was nudging the price up to panic her into buying. I was a fresh search from a different location. That's predatory profiling, and if you ignore it, you can overpay hundreds, even thousands a year. So you need to become a digital ghost. The easiest step is using private or incognito mode in your browser. In Chrome, click the three dots and open a new incognito window. Do all your searching there. When you close it, the cookies vanish and the airline forgets who you are. Never stay logged into your airline account while shopping. Check prices on your computer, then on your phone. Better yet, ask your grandkids to look on their devices. If you see different prices for the same seat, you know the system is playing you. Book the lowest one immediately. Now let's shift from your wallet back to your health, because this next secret is not optional. If you are over 55 and flying more than 3 hours, this is a medical non-negotiable. We need to talk about deep vein thrombosis, blood clots. In economy, your legs are bent at a sharp angle. The seat edge presses into your thighs and circulation slows. Combine that with dehydration and lower oxygen, and your blood thickens. A clot can form, and when you stand up, it can break loose and shoot to your lungs. That's a pulmonary embolism, and it can kill in minutes. After flight length, age is the biggest risk factor. This is the hardest story of my career. On an 11-hour flight from London to Los Angeles, a fit man in his early 60s slept in a window seat for hours without moving. When we landed, he stood up, gasped, and collapsed. Despite doctors and paramedics, he didn't make it, not because he was unhealthy, but because he sat still too long at that age. So you must wear graduated compression socks. This isn't fashion, it's medical equipment. Look for 15 to 20 millimeters of mercury. Put them on at home before you leave, when your legs are least swollen. Wear them through the flight and don't take them off until you're settled at your destination. If you do only one thing from this entire talk, buy the socks. They save lives. We've covered the water that can make you sick, the computers that quietly rob your wallet, and the silent danger in your legs. Now we're going even deeper behind the curtain, because when flights go wrong and stress hits, the system has more traps waiting for you. And the next one is about what really happens when your flight is delayed or you're told there's no seat for you. About what really happens when your flight is delayed or you're told there's no seat for you. This is where the airline's most cynical playbook comes out. When a flight is oversold or stuck for hours, gate agents are trained in what I call desperation management. Their goal isn't fairness. It's to make the problem disappear for as little money as possible. So they start with crumbs, a $10 food voucher for a 4-hour delay, or a $200 travel credit that expires in a year if you're bumped. They're counting on you being tired, stressed, and polite enough to take it and sit down. Here's what they don't advertise. The moment you accept that voucher, you often give up your legal right to real cash compensation. I watched this on a flight from Paris to New York that was delayed 6 hours. Agents were handing out meal vouchers like they were gold. An older couple thanked them and bought sad sandwiches. They had no idea that because the flight started in Europe, a law called EU 261 entitled them to €600 each in cash. That $30 voucher was a trick to stop them from asking for the real money. So you need to speak their language. If you're bumped in the US against your will, don't take a voucher. Walk up calmly and say, I am requesting involuntary denied boarding compensation as required by the Department of Transportation. If they get you to your destination more than 2 hours late, the law says they can owe you up to 4 times your one-way fare, as much as $1,550 in cash, not credits. If your flight is delayed or canceled on a European route, say the magic word, EU 261. Just saying it tells them you know your rights. Ask, under EU 261, where do I file my claim for compensation? Stop settling for sandwiches when the law says you deserve hundreds. Now let's talk about a seat the airlines love to sell seniors as a premium upgrade, the bulkhead, that first row of economy facing a wall. It sounds perfect because no one reclines into you, but for bodies over 55, it's often a trap. The tray table is locked inside the armrest, making the armrests solid and narrow. You lose inches of space right where your hips need it most. You also can't stretch your legs under a seat. There's a wall, forcing you into a rigid 90-degree position for hours. If you have back pain or sciatica, it can be brutal. And there's no under-seat storage, so every bag has to go overhead, which is risky if your shoulders aren't what they used to be. Before you book, use a seat map tool and look for an aisle seat in the second or third row of economy instead. You'll have movable armrests, space for your essentials, and easier access to stand and move. And that brings us to the war for overhead bins. On a full plane, there simply isn't room for every roller bag, so at the gate, you'll hear the call. All roller bags must be checked. Here's the danger for you. Your medications are in that bag, just like they told you to do. If it gets sent to the cargo hold and lost or delayed, you're facing a real medical crisis. So never pack critical meds loose in your roller. Keep them in a smaller tote inside. When they demand your bag, unzip it, pull out that medical pouch, and hold it close. If challenged, say, "This contains essential medical equipment and prescriptions that cannot be separated from me." They will back off. No airline wants that liability. We've protected your rights in your seat, but there's still one filthy little surface waiting for you when you sit down, and if you don't deal with it, it can steal your entire vacation. Waiting for you the moment you lower it, your tray table. I know it sounds dramatic, but that little rectangle is the dirtiest square foot on the entire aircraft. Planes are turned around fast, sometimes in less than an hour. Cleaning crews vacuum and reset belts, but they do not have time to scrub every tray. I've seen diapers changed on them, bare feet propped up, people coughing and sneezing, food spilled and wiped with a napkin. Then you sit down, open it, and place your sandwich right on top. For bodies over 55, whose immune systems don't bounce back like they used to, that's an invitation to spend your vacation hugging a hotel toilet instead of the people you came to see. So you need a simple ritual. Before you even sit, pull out an alcohol-based wipe, at least 70% alcohol. Wipe the top and bottom of the tray, the armrests, the seatbelt buckle, and the air vent above your head. Hand gel is not enough for viruses like norovirus. 30 seconds of wiping is the cheapest travel insurance you'll ever buy. Let people stare. You'll be the one enjoying dinner on day one while they're wondering what hit them. Now that we've handled the germs, let's talk about a loophole the airlines hate, but the law gives you. It's the 24-hour risk-free cancellation rule. In the US, if you book a flight at least 7 days before departure, you have 24 hours to cancel for a full cash refund. No vouchers, no excuses. Most people think it's only for mistakes. Smart travelers use it as price drop insurance. Book a fare you can live with, set a timer for 23 hours, and keep checking the price using a different browser. If it drops, buy the cheaper ticket first, then cancel the original one inside that window. You just paid yourself back for paying attention. Secret number 9 is about those heart-pounding tight connections. Airlines sell tickets with 45-minute layovers in massive hubs because their computer says it's possible for a healthy 25-year-old who knows the airport and can sprint. That is not you, and it doesn't need to be. The stress alone can wreck the start of your trip. So set your own rule. Never accept less than 90 minutes for domestic connections in big airports, and never less than 2.5 hours for international ones. Give yourself time to walk, breathe, and handle delays without panic. And finally, secret number 10 is about how to get what you need from us, the crew, without being labeled difficult. Our service is choreography. Once the cart passes, that phase is over. If you ring the bell long after to ask for a drink, you're breaking the flow. Instead, use what I call the golden 15 minutes, right after we reach cruising altitude and the seatbelt sign turns off, before the carts are locked in motion. That's when you walk up, stretch your legs, and politely ask, "Could I please have a full bottle of water now? I need it for medication." Or, "May I get an extra blanket before you get busy?" You'll get a smile and what you need. This is why I, Mila, share these truths with you. Because travel at this stage of life should be about joy, not endurance. And when you take control like this, you stop being cargo in a system and start being what you deserve to be. A valued human being on a journey worth enjoying, and that's where the real shift has to happen. Knowledge gives you back control in a system built to profit from silence. Travel should not feel like an obstacle course designed to wear you down. It should be the reward for decades of hard work, the time when you finally get to see the world on your terms, not theirs. Every small choice you make, filling your own water bottle, searching in private mode, wearing compression socks, wiping your space, refusing weak vouchers, builds a shield around your health and your savings. I want you to start thinking differently before your next trip. Don't rush through booking. Don't assume the airline knows what's best for you. They don't. Their systems are tuned for speed and profit, not for your knees, your blood pressure, or your peace of mind. You are allowed to slow the process down. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to say no when something feels wrong. This is why I call myself your guardian in the skies. Not because I can change the industry, but because I can help you move through it with your eyes open. You don't need to master every trick at once. Just promise me that before your next flight, you'll pick a few and actually use them. Those few steps can be the difference between arriving exhausted and arriving ready to live. Ready to live, to laugh, and to enjoy every moment you worked so hard to earn. That is the goal of all this, not to make you anxious, but to make you strong. The airlines are counting on you staying quiet, staying polite, and staying unaware. They profit when you accept discomfort as normal and confusion as unavoidable. You don't have to play that role anymore. I want you to remember this one thing. Every time you fly, you are entering a system built by algorithms, not by people who care about your body or your budget. But inside that system, you still have choices. You can hydrate before thirst hits. You can protect your legs before they ache. You can clean your space before germs get a chance. You can speak the right words when delays happen. And you can give yourself time instead of racing through terminals like it's a contest you never agreed to join. So, make me a promise. Before your very next flight, choose just 3 of these habits and commit to them. Maybe it's the compression socks, maybe it's the wipes, maybe it's refusing a lowball voucher and asking for what the law says you deserve. 3 small actions. That's all it takes to start taking back control. I'm Mila, your guardian in the skies, and I want every trip you take from here on out to end not with relief that it's over, but with gratitude that you arrived healthy, confident, and ready for the life waiting beyond the gate.